From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, October 25th. All right, you're going to want to have your rain jacket, maybe an umbrella with you just in case today. Some isolated showers are going to build throughout the morning hours before a little bit more widespread this afternoon. Isolated thunderstorms are also possible. Not expecting any severe weather right now, according to our Storm Track 8 meteorologist, but scattered showers are going to stay possible for the overnight hours, mainly central and northern Indiana. Highs in the low 70s, so that's one of the underlying good things about the day. And we do also need the rain. It is a very dry October. It's going to be a lot warmer than what we see tomorrow with highs in the 50s for your Wednesday. The new British Prime Minister promises to bring economic stability to the United Kingdom. This morning, Rishi Sunak delivered his first speech on the job. Several key moments happened this morning. Sunak first arrived at Buckingham Palace. Once inside, he met with King Charles. Then Sunak traveled to 10 Downing Street, where he will live and work. Sunak says he'll confront with compassion the country's economic crisis. Sunak will be the United Kingdom's third prime minister in less than 2 months and the first person of color ever in the role. One of his first tasks will be to appoint a cabinet. And a twist in the search for a missing little girl and 2 adults here back in Indiana. Police have found the man they were looking for, but not the child or woman. Investigators are asking for help. They say Shane Reynolds, Brandy Hadler, and 4-year-old Gemma Hadler were last seen together nearly a week ago. IMPD says it's now found Reynolds and is still searching for the mother and child. Police say Gemma Hadler is 3'5" with brown hair and brown eyes. Police also think she may need medical attention. Investigators are also sharing a description of the car they were in. It's a 4-door Mazda, light in color with a license plate NKI807. If you see it or the Hadlers, IMPD asks you to call 911. The mayor of Indianapolis says IMPD needs a full staff for his anti-violence campaign to work. Joe Hogsak's $45 million anti-violence plan spans 3 years. He says the city needs to fill 200 police jobs that are open. Speaking at the kickoff event for a new officer recruitment campaign, Hogsett said investments in crime fighting are paying off, citing an intentional homicide rate down 18% year over year. The new campaign includes putting up recruiting billboards across Marion County, also in Fort Wayne, Bloomington, Cincinnati, Louisville, Detroit, and St. Louis. All right, to the Colts. Backup quarterback Sam Ehlinger will now get the chance to steer the horseshoe back to a potential playoff run. Matt Ryan is benched. Ehlinger will make his starting debut Sunday against the Commanders. Nick Foles will be his backup. The move came a day after a loss to Tennessee. Ryan did separate his throwing shoulder late in the first half, but head coach Frank Reich says that injury is not what prompted the change. He wants to get back to the run-heavy offense that helped Jonathan Taylor win last season's NFL rushing title. This will be the first time in Ryan's 15-year career that he'll serve as a backup. Lilly is offering a response this morning to a protest outside its international headquarters in downtown Indianapolis. Demonstrators want price for insulin lowered immediately. T1 International is a patient-led organization that advocates for access to insulin for all. According to T1, 1 in 4 people living with diabetes in the U.S. have reported rationing their insulin due to high prescription costs. That's why the group marched to the Lilly headquarters. Advocates shared a petition signed by more than 1,000 people calling on Lilly to lower the list price of insulin immediately. This is the 4th time the group has marched at Lilly demanding the price of insulin be dropped. Representatives from Lilly responded, sending Wish TV a statement. It reads in part, Lilly is committed to making insulin affordable for all people living with diabetes, regardless of income or insurance status. In the past years, we introduced multiple solutions that have progressively lowered the out-of-pocket cost for Lilly insulin. Today, anyone is eligible to purchase their Lilly insulin prescription for $35 or less per month, regardless of the number of pens or vials they use and whether they're uninsured or use commercial insurance, Medicaid, or are enrolled in a participating Medicare Part D plan. Lilly says anyone paying more than $35 per month for Lilly insulin can call the Lilly Diabetes Solution Center at 833-808-1234. That's where you can learn more about solutions. America's Education Secretary delivers a direct message about the so-called nation's report card. State and local leaders are also calling it appalling and unacceptable. The assessment tested 4th and 8th graders across the country this year and compared the results to pre-pandemic years. Experts consider the results alarming and discouraging. Math scores saw their lowest declines ever. Reading scores dropped to levels not seen since 1992. Indiana's assessment shows students outperformed their peers nationally in math. 40% of 4th graders and 30% of 8th graders scored at or above proficiency. Reading levels matched the national average. 33% of Indiana 4th graders and 31% of 8th graders were proficient or better. Indiana Secretary of Education, Dr. Katie Jenner, says the results show an intentional, targeted approach is necessary. The Department of Education has launched initiatives to help support Hoosier students and educators. The state and the Lilly Endowment are investing $111 million in literacy. A statewide tutoring program in math and English is also available. Students in St. Louis, Missouri, describe Monday's mass shooting in their school. 2 victims are dead, 7 more are wounded. Police say the shooter killed a 61-year-old teacher and a 16-year-old girl before officers killed him. The attack happened just after 9 yesterday morning at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. The St. Louis School Superintendent, Kelvin Adams, says there were 7 security guards on duty, 1 at each entrance. Adams says 1 guard spotted a man trying to get in and notified school leaders who called police. They are not yet explaining exactly how the suspect got in. Police say the shooter had a gun out when he arrived and carried at nearly a dozen high-capacity magazines of ammunition with him. Authorities say students barricaded doors and some jumped from windows to escape. Police say the suspect is a 19-year-old who graduated from the school last year. To business headlines, Unilever recalled popular brands of aerosol dry shampoo, including Dove, after discovering they were contaminated with a chemical called benzene that can cause cancer. The recall also covers brands such as Nexus, Suave, Tresemme, which make Rockaholic and Bedhead dry shampoos. That would be TG. That's according to the FDA. Apple increased monthly and annual subscription prices for its streaming services, Apple TV Plus and Apple Music. Apple said the price increase for Apple Music was because of increased music licensing costs. Now, a monthly individual subscription to Apple Music is $10.99 versus the previous price of $9.99. Access to Apple TV Plus is $6.99 per month now, more than the previous price of $4.99 a month. Mark Zuckerberg's multi-billion-dollar metaverse investment has drawn ire from at least one prominent tech investor. Brad Gerstner from Altimeter Capital published an open letter telling Meta it has lost the confidence of investors. Gerstner suggested layoffs and limiting the company's metaverse investment for Meta to regain focus. America's renters have had enough. Rent gains are starting to slow in many parts of the U.S. as renters balk at the increases. It's a dramatic reversal from just months ago when people were fighting over a limited supply of apartments, getting on waiting lists, or paying multiple application fees to land one home. 3 in 5 Americans think their pet is smarter than the average person. Conducted by one poll on behalf of Pet Honesty, the survey found 3 in 5 prefer to include their pet in family group photos more than half the time. 45% have bought some kind of supplement for their pet. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.